Hey everyone, today I'm making a video not because I really feel that I'm excited to, but because I need to speak my voice on this. Just moments ago, it was announced that the Big House Online received a cease and desist from Nintendo of America. I have the tweet pulled up right here. To cancel the upcoming online event due to the fact that they are not allowed to use Slippi. Which is the only form of Melee we have right now during a pandemic. Slippi allows us to play with rollback netcode from a distance in a time where people can't congregate together in venues. In other words, for a game like Melee, whose lifeblood and life source as a competitive scene is based upon tournaments that happen in person, Slippi made, with the tireless effort by Fizzy and others, this was, the only chance that Melee had to live during a pandemic, considering the fact that regionals are frowned upon, but even locals are frowned upon during this time, especially today, where as of yesterday, the COVID cases daily in the United States hit an all-time high. The Big House is forced to comply for both Melee and Ultimate, so refund information will be sent shortly. We apologize to all of those impacted. Now, I don't know if Ultimate needed to be canceled, but I think just for the fact that Melee was canceled, they also felt the need to also cancel Ultimate as a result. This isn't the only thing that happened, though. This is not the only thing that happened, because if you look also at the Beyond the Summit Twitch channel, all of the Slippi Champions Leagues videos, all the VODs on Twitch, have been removed. This is a massive sign of an impending disaster. Nintendo has now gone out of their way to remove the only chance that Melee had to remain a competitive game during a pandemic, for the sole fact that it's using a modification necessary for the game to even exist. It's as if Nintendo doesn't even want their game to be shown at all online on Twitch. It's as if Nintendo doesn't even want their fan base to be happy over having a user-built modification built solely out of the love of the game to make it exist to keep happening. When people see Melee, they see Smash Bros. When they see Smash Bros, they get interested in the scene. Maybe they buy more copies of Ultimate. Maybe they start playing more Smash in general. Maybe they go to GameStop and they find some used copy of Melee, whatever it is. Now look, you want me to play the devil's advocate? We will. We'll talk about the elephant in the room. Yeah. We're all playing Melee right now on ISOs of the game. We are. Like there's no looking around it. You can't have an online form of Melee without having a modded form of the game, which is directly ripped from the file of the disc itself. It's just how it is right now. My question is to Nintendo, and my question is for the umpteenth time, because I felt like I've been a broken record saying this every single time, what is the actual point of doing this? Why are you taking away the one thing this community has left? What is to be gained? Do you think it affects sales of Ultimate? Nintendo, you are a company. We haven't seen eye to eye on so many things. And I get that there's legal ramifications, but instead of going so far to just pluck this online, this beautiful spectator sport away from the last clutches of what we have, what if there was a middle ground? What if there's a compromise? What is truly the big deal about this? The people are simply showing you what we've desired the entire time, which is an online form of Melee, which is an online form of any Smash game that has a proper code that allows us to enjoy the game from a distance, especially in the time of a crisis. And frankly, I'm not going to stand for this. As of right now, it's 3:42 p.m. Eastern, November 19th, 2020, as I'm recording this. Summit 10 online is happening right now. Is the tournament going to be canceled in the middle of the broadcast after everyone's been, practicing and warming up for it? I get that, sure. My stance on Melee has been different and back and forth in that, but even I have behind the scenes, I have been playing. I have been warming up. And for this to happen, for you to tell me that the one chance now that people have to actually grind the game more so than they ever have before against people all over the world with a beautifully implemented netcode, if you tell me that's gone, then what chance does Melee have? And I put it here in my tweet because it has to be said. This is the beginning of the end. Either COVID dies or Melee dies. Because if Nintendo does this, which unfortunately in their legal ability, they are able to do so as much as they want. If this is the case, Melee online and Melee in a pandemic can no longer exist. And everyone is forced to play from their streams and do their own unranked matches or direct matches until things are over. But in terms of actual competitions, which is the celebration, which is what Melee stands for, if we can't have competitions until COVID is gone and the vaccines are not only created but implemented, distributed, everything goes without a hitch, and people start showing up to events again, it's we've got a long way to go. We've got a very, very long way to go, and I'm worried. Frankly, I'm very worried about this. It's just there's no reason that Nintendo. I just don't get it. I just don't understand this at all. There's been a few times where I've been honestly flabbergasted by a decision, especially given the fact that we all remember, and you can pull this up and I'll probably my editors can show some B-roll of this. Nintendo tried to make Evo, which would use the fully legal version of the game, the fully vanilla version of the game. They tried to have Melee not be at Evo, which was obviously 200 times more confusing. And when that happened, the entire community came together and they all sent them the emails, they all sent them the phone calls, they sent them everything that we could to show them this is not the right call. And when Nintendo allowed Melee to be back at Evo, suddenly a new esport flourished. Suddenly Melee became one of the most celebrated fighting games of all time because they decided to give a shit, which is all this really boils down to. I get that there's laws in place. I get that there's bigger machinations behind the main picture of what you see. I get that Melee in a video game isn't just some form of art that someone magically, poofed out of existence. I get that it was countless hours of work, countless hours of people making sure everything is okay to make a project happen. I get that there's much, much more behind this than I or most people can see, and the only people who really know what's going on is Nintendo, is the creators of the game. I get that. I get that I'm just a guy on my computer who happened to be good at pressing the buttons at the right time to make a career out of it, ranting on his screen about it. But I'm going to say this. Sometimes just because it's what's written on paper, sometimes it's just because that's how the rules are, doesn't mean it's right. Sometimes circumstances change, and sometimes circumstances need to be changed for the greater good, for the greater happiness of the world. And in this case, our small corner of the world, the Melee community, needs this. I don't care what your opinion is about netplay or Slippi. I don't care to even share my opinion about it and all that, or what it is. It's not CRT, it's not vanilla. Fuck all of that. Anyone objectively who can see from the outsider knows how important Slippi is to the Melee scene. Anyone who knows what Melee has gone through, what Melee has survived through, knows that this is the next natural step until things resume to some form of normal. And so, Nintendo, you're probably not going to watch this. You're probably not going to see what I say. A lot of the times I've said things to you, and to this day I still don't understand why Melee has been treated so often as this neglected mistake that you want everyone to pretend that it's not there. I love Melee. I love Ultimate. I've loved every form of Smash, at least for a while, too. I'm not just some elitist for the game. I love the series in general. But I would not be here if it was not for the opportunities presented by Melee, especially if it was not for the opportunities that you allowed to happen when Melee was at Evo. I don't know where my life would be right now. But all I know is that Melee gives a life to a lot of people, far greater than me, far distant than me, and everyone right now in a time when we don't know what's going to happen, needs this game. They need that sort of escape. And for this to happen, to take away just one last glimmer of hope that we had right now, it's not just wrong. It's evil. Please do the right thing. And I hope everyone watching this reaches out to Nintendo the same way that we did during EVO. The second war we have to fight now to make sure they do the right thing for everyone. Thank you.